Hi Stitchy friends, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Kenzie from Mudpuppy Stitchery, and I am a cross-stitch designer. I am a bird nerd and a wildlife lover, and I enjoy doing all of the crafty things. So if you're new, welcome. I hope that you like what you see, and I hope that you'll continue to follow up with me on my future videos. And for my current subscribers, thank you so very much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So hi everyone, I hope everybody has been doing well and keeping busy. I can tell you that I certainly have been, both at work and at home. So last week we finally had our really huge work conference that I've been planning for at least 6 months, and it went really well for the most part. And it was a conference hosting 7 other medical centers from across the country, and it was both an in-person and virtual 4-day conference. So that means we needed to have AV and catering and busing for everyone that was coming from the hotel. So as you can imagine, it was lots and lots of planning, but everyone seemed to really enjoy it, and I think it ended up being a success. So I had planned a couple fancy dinners at some historical locations in the area for the attendees, and we had something absolutely crazy happen. While everyone was being served dinner in this super fancy old mansion, we had a bat that wanted to join in the party apparently. And so he was swooping in and out right above everybody's heads, and then he would go and hide for 5 minutes, and then he'd reappear and then start swooping again. Everybody was pretty spooked, and people were running around and trying to open a window, and then all of a sudden, the chef comes out with this really long pink bat net, and he starts waving the bat net around, trying to catch the bat. I literally could not believe it. It was an absolutely hilarious situation. But the bat was finally caught and released outside, and then everybody cheered. So I actually took a video of when this was happening, so I will show that here. So crazy. And I know everyone at that dinner will be talking about that bat for years to come. So the intense conference week is finally over, and luckily I'm taking some time off to rest, do lots of crafting, and make a video for you guys. So I have been on a crafting extravaganza, literally trying all sorts of new things, which I will show you today, of course, plus starting a few new cross-stitch pieces and working on some whips. So lots to show today. Another super exciting thing that happened was that my sister and I finally sat down and bought plane tickets to visit some dear friends over in Australia. So this coming January, we'll be headed down under, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. And we are going to be road tripping around New South Wales and Queensland for about 2 weeks, which does not feel like enough time at all, but I am so glad to finally be traveling again. And the last time that I was over there was in 2018, and my sister has never been there. And so I am so beyond excited to show her how amazing it is. And if you're new here, on my second Flosstube, I explain a little bit more detail about why I have such a connection to Australia and how it's even inspired my own cross-stitch design, which I'll show a little bit later. So very, very excited about that, and hopefully I can shoot some video of the beautiful countryside and the incredible animals and bring you along for the ride. I think it is time to hop right into the crafting, and like I said before, I have been trying a whole bunch of new things left and right and have been having an absolute blast. So I am so excited to show you what I've been working on. I'm first going to start out with the non-cross-stitch related items. So if you're only interested in that, please feel free to skip to this time point. Although I really hope that you'll stay throughout the whole video because I've got some really neat projects that I've been working on and I'd like to show you. I was able to finish another baby blanket for TJ's sister-in-law because she is going to have her first child in the next couple of months, and I wanted to make something for him. So this is how it turned out. But I have been making an insane amount of baby blankets this year, and it's been really fun because they're small, they're super quick, and I get to try out all different sorts of yarns that I normally wouldn't. So yeah, I think it turned out really cute. So I started this on July 19th and finished it on August 4th. And this was crocheted using a granny square stitch. And I just kept going and going until I got the size blanket that I wanted. And then I finished off the edge with a nice little scallop stitch, which I think is really cute. And you'll notice the color around the edge is slightly different than the center of the design. I unfortunately ran out of the original yarn, and then I went back to buy more. Couldn't find it, of course, and so I had to substitute with something somewhat similar. But the main two colors are an ice cream brand, or Lion brand ice cream yarn in the color Smurf. And then the other main color is Baby Soft Twinkle Print. And then around the edges, I had substituted for another ice cream yarn called Blueberry. Nope, it's just Blueberry. Yeah, so this has been washed and blocked, and this is all ready to go and ready to be gifted. Next, I was able to finish the edging for another block on my favorite colors, crochet granny square blanket, and this is how it turned out. I really love the colors on this one. So I think I only have 2 more blocks left, and then I can crochet them all together and finish it with a border around the outside with this super nice variegated white, and then I should be all done. So I did start the next block while I was listening at the conference this past week and was able to get a little bit done. And I know that I said last time I would probably have this done by this video. Obviously that didn't happen, but I am really hoping to have it done soon and displayed on my bed because it's an absolutely huge blanket. So we shall see. I will keep you updated. So the next thing that I worked on is completely out of my wheelhouse, but I have been wanting to try this for years and years after seeing Bianca from the Closet Historian create absolutely spectacular beaded and sequined critters. And you absolutely need to check out her channel. Not only is she a brilliant historical sewist, she's also an extremely accomplished pattern drafter, and she does all sorts of other crafts like vintage hat making and set design, and of course makes these gorgeous hand beaded beetles and butterflies and spiders, and it's amazing. I'll make sure to link her down below, of course. So I've always wanted to try this, and I finally made an order with Cartwright Sequins to attempt to create a Monarch butterfly pin. And this is how it turned out. I think he's pretty cute and definitely good enough for a first try at sequining and beading. It was really fun to do, although there is definitely a very steep learning curve for learning how to sew on the sequins, because I was having so many issues with the sequins that they kept flipping, and as I was trying to stitch them down. And so the stitching is a little bit sloppy, but and quite visible, but that's okay. I still think it turned out pretty cute. So for my next project, which I will show you in a second, I am planning on trying to super glue the sequins down and place them using tweezers so that I have a little bit more control on how they lay on the felt. So that was another issue that I was having too. It was difficult to keep the sequin exactly where I wanted it, just because it would try to shift as soon as I tried to stitch it down. But overall, very, very happy that I tried this out and excited to work on the next one. I almost forgot to mention, for the back, I just hand stitched a piece of felt and glued a clip on to the back just so that I can display the butterfly wherever I want. So I could like attach it to a finished cross stitch piece, or I could clip it into my hair or onto like a jacket. So there's lots of ways to display these. And I had started this on July 28th and finished it on August 4th. And like I was hinting a little bit previously, my next beaded and sequin bug that I want to make is going to be a bee, specifically Bombus impatiens, which is a common species of bumblebee found here in Minnesota. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. So I had bought all of the beads and the sequins, and I'm ready to get a start hopefully really soon. But yeah, very excited to have worked on this and to have completed it, and I'm really interested to see if the glue technique will work much better than actually sewing on the sequins. And my last non-cross stitch item that I finished was my macrame bat. And here's how he turned out. I absolutely love him. So I saw this tutorial a long time ago, which I'll of course link down below. And I have always wanted to try this out, and I finally did it. If you're a complete macrame beginner, I would definitely not suggest starting this project because it's a little bit complex. The tutorial is amazing, but I would definitely recommend subscribing to Macrame School and seeing what else they have to offer. So I've done macrame in the past before, so I'm certainly not a complete beginner, but it has been a while, and so I did struggle just a little bit, but I think he turned out so cute. I'm just obsessed with his little snout and his big eyes. So he will definitely be displayed all year round because bats are amazing, and it makes me think of the bat at the dinner party. So lots of fun. And I know that I'll probably be making a few more of these because my friends who are, of course, also into wildlife absolutely loved how he turned out too. Before I hop into the cross stitching, I would like to move on to another segment I like to call Wildlife Minute, where I give a little talk on wildlife, biology, animals, or anything that strikes my fancy. So hopefully you'll learn something new, and it will encourage you to take a deeper dive into the wonders of the natural world. But if you are just interested in the crafty stuff, feel free to hop to this time point. Hi, my name is Kenzie, and welcome to Wildlife Minute. Why is it so bright? Can you guys hear the blue jay? And the cicadas. It's very noisy out here. This is my best wildlife minute yet. So I had a lovely comment on my last video from a viewer suggesting that I focus on bluebirds for my next wildlife minute. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. So here in Minnesota, we actually don't have them here year-round, so this isn't a bird that I often see. Now, when I say bluebird, I am not talking about birds that are blue in general, like a blue jay. So blue jays are technically blue, but they're not considered bluebirds. There are 3 species of bluebirds that we have here in the US, and that is the eastern bluebird, the western bluebird, and the mountain bluebird, with the eastern bluebird being the most widespread. These gorgeous, colorful birds are quite distinctive and easy to identify. And they are considered cavity nesters, which means that they will nest out in hollowed out tree cavities, and they are also quite often known to use nest boxes. So if you happen to have a backyard that has open clearings with patchy vegetation, you might consider putting up a bluebird nest box. And I do have a link listed down below on how to make your own if you're interested. And bluebirds, they mainly eat insects. So you can imagine why they're mostly found in grassy fields and native prairies and open green spaces. They also enjoy eating berries and have very occasionally been known to eat small reptiles and amphibians. So how do you encourage bluebirds to visit your property? I would first pull up a bluebird range map and figure out, 1, which of the 3 subspecies is found in your state, and 2, do they stay there year-round, or are they only migrating through? So, for example, here in Minnesota, they will lay eggs and raise their young, but as soon as winter starts to creep in, they migrate further south, most likely because of better food availability. If you live in an area where they stay year-round, in addition to the nest box, you can also consider putting out mealworms in your bird feeders during the winter time to help keep them fed when there are fewer insects available. So I really hope you enjoyed this video's Wildlife Minute, and let's head back to the stitching. All right, welcome back. So let's hop straight into some cross-stitch whips that I've been working on since my last video. I was able to get a little bit more progress on my 100 Owls project by Owl Forest Embroidery, and I am working towards a 2024 finish. So I was able to work down in the bottom right-hand portion of the corner to get that part finished up, and I am loving how the little the little burrowing owls turned out. I think they're really cute. That's really hard to say. So I'm planning on completing the rest kind of quadrant by quadrant. So I hope you won't get too sick of seeing this piece pop up on every video until I get it complete. But again, I love how it's turning out. And this is being stitched with DMC threads on an 18 count moss by my Vintage Needle Arts on Etsy. This is such a fun piece, and I do plan on getting it professionally framed once it's done, so more progress to come. The next whip that I worked on was Strawberry Bird by the Blue Flower, and I am absolutely loving how this piece is turning out. Oh, it is just so pretty. So the fabric is 18 count dark pink by My Vintage Needle Arts on Etsy, and it looks so good with all of the reds and the greens and the other pinks. So just love it. And I am saving this second cedar waxwing towards the end because they're just so beautiful, and hopefully it will motivate me to keep working on this piece and to keep getting some progress. So I was able to work up the middle portion of the piece and then get a little bit started on the right hand side. So I felt like I got some really good progress on this piece. And I've been trying to figure out a way to fully finish this, but I honestly have no idea. So if you have any fun, creative ideas, please leave them down below in the comments because I need some ideas on how to fully finish this. Most of the time, I have a general idea of how I want to complete the piece, but not for this one for some reason. But again, that's future me's problem. I have to finish the piece first. So This was actually started on New Year's Eve of this past year, and again, I am loving it. The next whip that I worked on was my Prairie Schoolers Prairie Birds, and I'm getting so close to a finish on this one, and I cannot wait to have it done. So this was started on August 7th of this year and is being stitched on an 18 count evergreen by Fiber on a Whim Fabrics. But I think it's turning out so beautifully. I just love this fabric, and I definitely need to get more of it, that is for sure. So again, turning out so beautifully, and for this one I know exactly how I'm going to fully finish it. I'm thinking that I would like to put it on a long skinny slab of live edge stained wood, kind of similar to how I finished my Cottage Garden Samplings fox and raccoon pieces. So I was able to re-stitch the cardinals because last video I showed that I had stitched them as a one-off ornament piece for a friend that was headed back to Germany, and so I obviously needed to re-stitch it onto this piece, of course. And I was almost able to finish the Bluebird block, which is really funny because I did not plan on working on the Bluebird block on the same video as the Bluebird Wildlife Minute, so funny coincidence. But anyway, I think it is turning out super lovely, and I absolutely love it. I only have 2 more blocks to do remaining after this, so I am going to be working on this until it's completely finished, and hopefully by next video I will have it completely, fully finished to show you guys, so I can't wait. Next, I had 2 kind of sort of unintended new starts, but I am really glad I was able to get these kitted up and started. And the first one is Alpha Birds by Crossed Wing Collection, and this was a gifted pattern by a lovely viewer, which I very much appreciate. And a week or 2 ago, I was watching the amazing Denise from Black Ribbon Stitch Studio. I'll of course link her down below. And she has, she showed her this chart in her stash, and I had messaged her saying, hey, I also have this chart, wanna do a sal? And she said, absolutely. So we both got a start on this one, and mine is kind of a, well, it's pretty measly start, but I unfortunately had to frog the border out and restitch it just because the floss that was intended for the border was just too ghostly and was not showing up on mine. And I'm just stitching it on a very stiff 18 count Fiddler's Cloth Aida. So this is a bigger piece. So it will definitely be a longer term project, but I am so excited to start this stitch along with my wonderful friend Denise and continue to make some progress on it. And the last new project that I have to show you is a new start of one of my own patterns called the Australia Sampler. And like I had mentioned before, my sister and I will be traveling to Oz this coming January, so I thought it was a perfect piece to get a start on. So I have had this gorgeous orange fabric called Muted Sedona by Fiber on a Whim Fabrics in my stash for a while, and I have been trying to save it for something really special, and this definitely fits the bill perfectly. These colors are just popping off of it so beautifully, and I absolutely love how it's turning out. And this is funny because it's the first of my own designs that I have started stitching for myself, and I'd like to get more of my designs fully stitched and hopefully photographed so that I can have them uploaded to my Etsy page, because the, computer generated photos are just never as good. But this has been super addicting to work on, and just because of all the bright colors, and I am really looking forward to keep working on it. As far as putting out more designs on my Etsy page, I am currently working on a really big cross-stitch design that's going to be called Friend of Herons, and I am loving it so far, but it's taking me quite a while to get it finished. And I'm definitely been very frustrated with myself for not producing many charts this year, especially compared to last year. But I'm just trying to keep plugging along and make small little bits of progress here and there. And it certainly doesn't help that I tend to like to design really big and really complicated patterns, but that's kind of just my style, and so it ends up taking me a lot longer to produce final projects or final products. So I'm just going to keep working on it, and I will let you know as soon as it's available for purchase in my Etsy store. As far as acquisitions go, I randomly bought these two absolutely beautiful wool applique kits, and these are by Jerome Thomas Designs. And wow, I am so impressed with the craftsmanship and the detail of these kits. Like, they are just gorgeous. And he's got some really gorgeous cards. Like, look at how pretty that is. And this one too. I am definitely going to have to do this rabbit design next. And he even included like a little handwritten note and a little bit of extra felt as a thank you, and it is so soft. So I'm very impressed and very happy with this purchase. I've always been really interested in wool applique, and I've always wanted to try it out. And so since I've been trying so many other new crafts lately, you know, why not just add another one? But I think that I am going to do this Winter Glow, this one first, because this will be the perfect project for like the Thanksgiving and Christmas season. So the Sweethearts, that's definitely going to be more of like a spring and summer pattern, but I love both of these and I cannot wait to try it out. All right, and last but not least, before I head out, I wanted to give you guys a freebie to go and download, and I found this really cute owl freebie from The Tiny Modernist, and I will of course make sure to link it down below. So this one is super cute. The only thing that is slightly annoying as someone who is obsessed with birds is that they've got the toes wrong. And I don't blame them, because just about any owl like drawing or figurine or anything you see in the store, it usually has incorrect toes. When owls are perching, they have 2 toes in front and 2 toes in back. And then when owls are attacking, they have an adjustable toe that moves from the back all the way to the front. So they have 3 toes in front and then 1 toe in back. So technically speaking, these 2 owls, they're in attack mode, which actually makes it really funny considering the message. But anyway, I love this design and I think you should definitely go and download it. And again, I will have it linked down in the description box. All right, Stitchy friends, that is all that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please like the video, please comment down below, and check out my Etsy page, which will of course also be linked. And please follow me at Mudpuppy Stitchery on Instagram to keep an eye on what I'm doing in between videos. So I appreciate you so very much, and I hope to see you in about 3 weeks. So take care, do some bird watching, and stitch all of the things. Bye!